In the deep dark hills of eastern Kentucky, that's the place where I trace my bloodline. And it's there I read on a hillside gravestone, you will never leave Harlan alive. Oh, my grandfather's and tobacco wasn't selling, and old granddad knew what he'd do to survive. He went and dug for Harlan coal and sent the money back to Grandma. But he never left Harlan alive. Where the sun comes up about 10 in the morning and the sun goes down about 3 in the day, and you fill your cup with whatever bitter brew you're drinking. You spend your life digging coal from the bottom of your grave.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Trying to stop this screen here, but we thought we'd play a little song for you. Oh no, I can't figure out what's going on here. Well, wouldn't you know we'd have some kind of little blooper going on? There we go. How you doing, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Wait a minute, we're still not fixed here. For some reason, oh no, what's going on? Here we go. I think, there we go. All right, we are back. Took me a minute there to figure out what's going on, but we thought we'd play a little music for you at the beginning there, and it kind of fits in with tonight's theme, tonight's title, Hard Times, Mountain Mines, Preparedness in the Hills. Now, what that means is we're talking about how here in East Kentucky, folks haven't got far away from preparedness at all. And I'm sure that people listening right now, people watching, wherever you may be, like Rob on the road there in Great Britain, the UK, I'm sure that preparedness is all around there, but I'm just talking about East Kentucky right now. Most of y'all, some of y'all that are listening right now with me might be from East Kentucky, because I know I got a lot of friends, a lot of family that watches that are from right here. But, you know, some of us that's here tonight might just be strictly into camping or bushcraft, or maybe not into preparedness as much. But that's all right. This is Frontier Survival. And this is the Mountain Grit Podcast, meaning that you got to have that grit. We call it Mountain Grit because we're from East Kentucky. We're just a patriotic hillbilly from East Kentucky who loves to prepare and loves to camp and do bushcraft and you know, wilderness survival, stuff like that. So that's just it. That's just it. But let's see who's with us. Rob on the road is with us tonight. Good to see you there, brother. We had a little chat there going on right before the stream started. There is Mr. Gummy there, Richard Gamir. How you doing there, brother? We had a good chat there this week. So how is everybody doing tonight? Richard, Rob, anybody else that might be in the chat, that might be watching right now, chime in. Let us know what's going on. You live on the side of a floodplain valley. Well, hey, I know what that means. I mean, right here in East Kentucky, here in the last few years, right there in the area of Harlan, Kentucky, where that song was talking about, in Hazard, Kentucky, just a few years ago, was crazy flooding in East Kentucky, and just last year in North Carolina, crazy flooding, crazy stuff going on. That's what it is. You got to prepare for things like that. Am I right? What do you think, guys? But he lives on the side of the floodplain valley. We either prepare or learn to swim. Exactly right. Exactly right. We got 5 in the house. Make sure you let me know. Do we sound all right? Can you see everything all right? We want to know. We'll be with you here tonight for maybe an hour or so. That's usually how we do things. I don't see a reason when you're doing a live show to go too much over an hour, because you can't really talk about too much after that. Now tonight we'll kind of discuss the topic a little bit. In our next stream, we'll go ahead and tell this, and as long as everything goes all right, well, it won't be our next one, but I think maybe it'd be the November 22nd show. Now, we've been doing these every 2 weeks because we've noticed back in 2020, 2021, 2022, when we were doing the Dynamite show right here on Frontier Survival, we were doing a weekly live stream that kind of burned us out, you know. Audio and visuals good. That's great to hear, Rob, on the road. Appreciate you, brother. It's been a little while since I've seen Rob on the road, and I appreciate you being here today. I'm going to check out what's going on the phone here. There we are. Everything's good. Well, that's great. I'm glad that, because I'm glad the audio is good, because just and Richard will remember this, on the last stream a couple weeks ago, we were looking for our microphone, our wireless lavalier microphone. We couldn't find it nowhere. We lost it. We still haven't found it, but that's all right. We got in touch with Amazon, and we found a nice set, DJI. Most of y'all might be familiar with DJI. They make little action cameras, which are great, almost like the second coming of the GoPro. But they make a great set of microphones, wireless microphones that you can hook to your laptop, your phone, whatever, and have great sound. So we're ready for those to come. They'll probably come our way probably next week, and we'll have great, even better audio. Right now we're using the internal mic of this laptop, but that's all right. Richard, he's talking about, we have power outages every so often. They don't usually last too long, but it's good to have lanterns or flashlights handy and some gallons of water. Exactly right. Things like that. Food staples, whether it be a lot of beans, a lot of rice, things like that, water, even dehydrated meals to have. That's things that you would take out to camp. Canned goods, stuff like that. And most of us always had that stuff, but do we have a great, pile of it? I mean, we do our best when we can, and that's just all there is to it. I missed this one. Rob said life got strange for a minute, but it's getting settled back now. Okay, that's good to hear. And, yeah, flashlights too. You're right, Richard. So how is everybody doing tonight? And, we got 7 in the house, so make sure you hit that thumbs up. Looks like our signal might be a little weak. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. Hopefully we're not lagging at all. Guys, let us know. There's Rich Crabtree with us tonight. How you doing there? He says, hey, folks, a little late, but I made it. You're not late at all, brother. We just got started. Appreciate you being here. We just got started. We're talking about preparedness in the hills here in East Kentucky. Like I said, folks, now the term I use for my grandparents are Mamaw and Papaw. That's just how it is. Some of y'all might say the same thing. Some of y'all might have said Granny, Grandma, whatever. And that's great. That's awesome. Mamaw and Papaw, that's what it was for me. They were preppers before prepping was cool. Let me tell you right there. Guys, Grateful Trekker has just joined us. Say hello to Grateful Trekker, if you will. But like I said, prepping when prepping wasn't cool. They grew up in the during the times of the Great Depression when you made things out of things that you most time never would have thought of, casseroles out of just almost anything, but it filled your belly, right? You didn't go hungry. Miss Natalie Blackfeather's joined us. Good to see you, Miss Natalie. Just here for a few minutes, and we understand why. We appreciate you being here, and we will continue on just for a little bit. But before that, since Miss Natalie is here, that kind of reminded me a little bit. Folks, some of y'all will know Dutch Blackfeather. That's Miss Natalie's husband, and he is a content creator. He has the Dutch Blackfeather channel, and right there on YouTube, he is also into bushcraft, but it's more traditional bushcraft. I know he preps and things like that now, but we want you to say a prayer for Dutch because he has been hospitalized, but he's on the mend. It's been a long week for Miss Natalie and Dutch, and for the longest time I didn't know what was going on because I didn't hear from him, and I usually talk to him every day. And we found out a couple of days ago, Natalie sent me a message saying he had been hospitalized, had a little bit of double pneumonia, I think, some fluid on the lungs, but he's getting cleared up now, and he'll be back in no time. So say a prayer for Brother Dutch, if you will, as we continue on. Dutch, if you're listening, I love you, brother. Outdoor Ordnance has joined us. How you doing there? They're talking about the old ways are some of the best ways. It's amazing how so much knowledge has been lost with food preparation and storage. Exactly right. Whatever happened to the old tater cellar? You know what I mean? Tater and carrots in the old root cellar. Thank you, Richard. But like I said, Brother Dutch. Oh, you're welcome, Miss Natalie. But that's, Dutch. He's a fighter. He's a champion, is what he is, and he'll go on to fight another day. He didn't really know. I guess the signs wasn't there. He probably would have went to the doctor if he knew he had things going on. He thought maybe he had some kind of cold going on. He didn't know, but he was at work. Things happened, and something happened. He realized he needed to get to the hospital, and there you have it. So things are looking up. Things are great, and like I said, we're just glad to hear that he's on the mend. Rob on the Road's talking about how you grew up with grandparents who served in World War II, still had rationing with my parents were young. We learned a lot about planning ahead, using that we could find and not complaining about it. Well, you never complain about it, right? That's why growing up, Rob and everybody else in the chat, and my wife, Miss Mandy, there in the living room will tell you there's not a whole lot of foods out there that I won't eat. There's a lot of folks out there that when it comes to wild game or even certain fish, they won't eat because of the gamey taste, or some fish have more fishy taste than others. I myself, I kind of lean towards that gamey taste. I kind of like it. I love to eat squirrel meat. Groundhog is good. Or some people might call them prairie dogs, but around here they're called groundhogs. Some places they call them woodchucks. But it's good eating. Boys, we got 10 in the house now. Now, when you get up to 10 or more in the house, that's a great show. And we want you to hit that thumbs up. We want you to come back next time when we do this thing, because we're just so excited when this thing happens. We love it. It's great. Now, we call this a podcast, but is this a true podcast? Not necessarily. We're not using any type of microphone at the moment, but we're coming your way with information. We're coming your way with entertainment, we hope. And therefore, it's a podcast. What do you think? We're only on this platform, but if you look at the tabs on the Frontier Survival channel, there's a podcast tab. And Mountain Grit Live is the podcast on the Frontier Survival channel. Grateful Trekker has said in some areas in the U.S., bartering is still a thing to make something, trade something. Yeah, bartering is it goes on right here in East Kentucky, just like it did back in the old days. Yep, other places as well. Rob on the road, I sadly can't eat animal product. Health, not ethics, but I won't decline bringing it home if needed. It's going to feed someone at some point. There you go. And we understand that. Like, not everybody can. But, when some people, when they're preparing wild game, they'll do a little something different to maybe, even with venison, they'll put a little beef broth with it. Maybe try to take out that gamey taste, but I don't know what it is. I just always liked it. Richard, yeah, Army chow. You're right. After eating Army chow, I eat almost any food put in front of me. And I tell you what, there was a lot of rice in the Army chow line, a lot of grits in the morning in the chow line. So, rice was always something that could be fixed plentiful and quick, right? And plenty of carbohydrates. Anybody else that's with us tonight? We got 11 in the house. Now, we only got maybe a handful commenting here. We always encourage you to sound off in the chat. At least say hello. Tell us you're here. We have a few people over there on the group, Facebook group that we admin, Frontier Survival Family, that have come to us saying how much they enjoy my show, how much they enjoy watching and listening to what I got to do, what I got to say, but they never say anything in the chat, so how am I going to know they're there? But they'll come to me later saying, hey, I enjoyed your show, sending me a private message or whatnot, but we always encourage you to say something, so, it don't have to be nothing big. You don't have to chime in with great points of what we're talking about. If you just say howdy, that encourages me to continue on. So I encourage you to say hello so you can encourage me to keep on keeping on. But that's right. I mean, keep things around. I'm not saying you have to have the greatest bug out bag in the world. I'm not even telling you to bug out. Right here where I'm at, up this East Kentucky holler, I don't think I will bug out. I think I'll bug in. Do I have a bug out bag ready to go? Yes, I do. Why? Because I just kind of trained that way. Miss Mandy in there's hollering, saying her husband's the best. Man, something happened. I lost everybody. Did I lose you for a minute? I don't know what happened there. I clicked something and everything. I went to try to see what Rob on the road here was saying. He said rat packs, MREs, bowl in the bags make up a lot of my food cupboards. At worst, you can eat them cold. Right. There you go. That sounds great. Outdoor ordnance. If you're from the Appalachian regions, I recommend frying ramps with venison. I've always enjoyed that. And, you're not telling me nothing, brother. I know about ramps and venison together. Sounds good. Oh, boy. It's been a little while since I've ate ramps with venison, but that brings back some memories. I'm back. There you go. Sorry about that, guys. But, hey, you never know what might happen. We try to have a great streamlined live podcast to come your way, but you never know. There's always hiccups, right? We can't be perfect. But yeah, we talked about those microphones earlier. We're really looking forward to using them. They're going to really jump our content creation game big time because, I mean, they're called the DJI micro mini or mini micro, something like that. But they're cool. You can magnetize them just right to your outfit or even your ball cap, whatever. They just could be right there, and you would have amplified sound. Grateful Trekker said, up north originally, but in Georgia for the past 30 years, pemmican was our go-to. Pemmicans, always something to prepare quick and have. That's great stuff. Now, most of us in here are all campers, bushcrafters, whatever you want to call it, but I think it all goes hand in hand, right? Miss Natalie saying one thing she has learned from Dutch is you don't need much, and with good tools and foraging and hunting skills, a country boy can survive. That's right. That's right. I mean, you don't have to go to the grocery store and fill your cupboards. You can hunt, fish, forage. That with a few other little things that you might get from the big box store, grocery store, small town grocery store, whatever it might be, you're set for life. You're right, Miss Natalie. Thanks for chiming in. Right on the road, we are preparing for the winter floods here. Pounds to pennies, it will be same groups of people who are shocked they have been flooded out again and still haven't prepared. Well, that's the thing is, you know, when you live in a floodplain, I mean, there's things you really got to watch out for. You're definitely right. And it seems like, you know, floods are becoming more common after these hurricanes, especially in these hilly areas like Appalachia. And I say Appalachia. Why? Because I'm from Appalachia. Those folks that aren't from Appalachia say Appalachia a lot of times. But anyway, places like North Carolina, Virginia, where Dutch and Natalie are from, East Kentucky, West Virginia, Georgia, you know, all these places. Because, you know, the Appalachian Mountains go all the way from, like, around Alabama and Georgia all the way up into Canada. Oh, Hank there, he's talking about he liked the Facebook shoot I made at work. You turn around and boom, we was there. Yeah, we'll have to see if we can bring that up after a while. Some of y'all probably already seen it. But we made a little Facebook reel trying to promote this live stream, and we were at the hardware store working our little tail off, and we thought we'd just set the phone up and make a little quick video to promote tonight's live stream podcast. Mountain grit coming your way, because you got to have that mountain grit and keep that mountain grit, right, Hank? Why? To stay mountain strong. But we appreciate that. Yeah, that was our old slogan. Miss Mandy, she still likes you got to have drive to survive, which all that kind of goes hand in hand, right? Drive to survive, mountain grit to stay mountain strong. It's all good. It's all good. Let's see if we can't do something here. Outdoor Ordnance said they recently bought a 50-pound bag of salt for my bulk food preparation. How would you recommend storing it? Well, I'll tell you what, that's a good one right there. And some of you folks in the chat might want to chime in on that. Storing a 50-pound bag of salt, a lot of times that could, you know, diminish in ways, because salt is, you know, you probably don't want to get water around it because it's probably water soluble. And then old Hank says, you know, that's right, brother. Yeah. Let's see if we can't, bear with me here. Let me see, make sure. I don't think when I do this, I lose everybody, but we will see if we'll go to the YouTube channel, because we got that over there as well. Same video. Little short video. Some of y'all might have not saw this, so since Hank thought it was good, we'll see if we can't share it with everybody here real quick. There we go.
Oh, hey, how you doing? Pete here. Yeah, we're at work. That's all right. We want to let you know, all you guys out there, that we will be live streaming once again.
I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong.
That we will be live streaming once again.
I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. All right, we won't worry about it, guys. Y'all get the gist. Y'all can check that out. Go to the Frontier Survival YouTube channel. Check that little short out where we kind of done a little comedy your way. There you go. Take some of it and smoke it. Smoked salt is great for cooking. Hey, that's a great idea, Grateful Trekker. Never thought of that. Appreciate you chiming in there. Keep it in an airtight container, of course. Rob on the Road is talking. With some of those moisture-absorbing sachets inside the lid. Yep, there you go. That's good. Good idea. Bag salt isn't 100% dry. Change the sachets as prescribed. There you go. There you go. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's going on. We used to be able to do the StreamYard stuff pretty good. And that's why we use StreamYard, because it helps us to schedule the live stream to where we can let folks know if they come and visit the channel that they'll see that I'll be going live because the thumbnail will be there. But for some reason, when I try to just make straight on YouTube without using StreamYard, I don't know. It's just I can't figure it out. But maybe we'll try to just use YouTube next time. We can still bring guests on, and we're going to start doing that here soon. So we'll talk about that. But Mr. Richard Gamir, who is, and I hope I'm saying your last name right, he is, we talked about this the last time. He makes a lot of canvas products, millbank bags, bags for skillets, your camping skillets, things like that. A few other things, sit pads and kneeling pads, and a few other things I know. We want to have him on. He's going to talk about his products that he makes. And I think we set that up for November 22nd show. Did we talk about that earlier? I forgot if we did. But Richard Gamir, he is going to show us those things. So that'll be on the way on November 22nd show. Now, we're going to try to do this, like I said, every 2 weeks, along with shorts and other videos coming your way. On YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, content all over the place for Frontier Survival. And we'll go ahead and let you all know, and some of you all already know, but your favorite hillbilly survivalist here, Heath, has a TikTok channel as well, but it doesn't have too much to do with survival or anything. That over there, and some of y'all already know, we do a lot of lip syncing over there. Why? Because when we were a kid, we would go in our bedroom, we would get in front of the mirror, we'd play a cassette tape on our jam box or boom box, and do a lot of lip syncing, different things. We were pretty good at it. So TikTok gives you that ability. Now, we throw a few lip syncs on YouTube. They haven't gone over too well because we talk about other things as well over here. But it's just the Hillbilly Heath channel over there on TikTok, or the Hillbilly Heath TikTok page. Pretty much that's all you got to type in, and you'll find some crazy lip syncs over there. It's just fun. I don't know. We're not all about survival. We're not that serious. I mean, we are serious when it comes to that. Don't get me wrong. But we like to have fun too. We like to entertain. So, we always wanted to be some type of host, and this affords us that ability to do it as being a host of a TV show, no matter what we're talking about. Because, we try to gear this podcast towards wilderness survival, bushcraft, camping, prepping, what have you. But we don't always talk about that, and we talked about that before. Last week we talked a little bit, or the last couple weeks on the last show, we talked about professional wrestling, how much we enjoy and watch that, even to this day, ever since 1980 when we were 6 years old. Outdoor Ordnance, love the work you're doing, brother. The podcast style content is great. Thanks. Hey, we like doing it, and we like when people tell us that they're enjoying it. And, it's just that. We're out here, most of us, I'm 51. Some of y'all that are with me tonight are older. Some of you may be a little younger, but that's my demographic and most of my demographic are males. But we had Miss Natalie here with us tonight. We might have a few other women with us tonight here before we end the trip. Miss Debbie Gronlund usually comes in. Miss April Galbraith, she's a nice lady. She's a prepping lady. She knows what she's doing. She might drop in here, but most of the guys are men, and then 50-ish, 45 to 50-ish, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger. But I mean, that's just what it is. Probably because of my age, and folks our age, we didn't have this ability to do stuff like this when we were younger. And I wish I did because, I always wanted to be some type of radio announcer or television announcer, maybe. Not necessarily a newsman or anything like that. Not Walter Cronkite or anything, but kind of like a Johnny Carson type deal. Or even like today with Jimmy Fallon. But I wouldn't be liberal. Like some folks, what's the guy's name from ABC that got canceled for a few weeks and then they brought him back? Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah. You're 51? Oh, later this year? I turned 51 in March. So, come March 2026, it'll be 52. Well, that's awesome. Even with my East Kentucky dialect. That's cool. I pronounced his name correctly. Gamir. Oh, okay. Okay, you're going to wait till the show to mention those products, and that will be great. There's Wolves Den Outdoors. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, Wolves Den, and anybody else just joined us. We like for that thumbs up. And the reason why is because we've heard that it helps the algorithm, and we have seen that. And, it's just kind of a thing to do. It don't take much effort, and it don't cost anything. But I know some of those people here tonight are content creators as well. Grateful Trekker, I know, is. Wolves Den Outdoors. Outdoor Ordnance, I'm sure. There hasn't been a lot of times where I can get to watch a lot of content creators, and there's a lot of folks I'm subscribed to, and I know I'm subscribed to Grateful Trekker and Outdoor Ordnance, but it's hard for me sometimes to get to watch everything. I'm just trying to check my phone out here, making sure that everything is all right. I'm trying to look up something here real quick. Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure we're all right there. Looks like everything's good. All right, there we go. All right, everything looks good. Thanks for the patience there. Oh, I didn't know that. That makes sense though. Quarter Ojibwe, Native American, right? have relatives still on the res, but learn some great prepping from them. No doubt. No doubt. I'm just checking something out there. Not sure exactly what the next episode will be about, guys, but I'm sure it's going to be about something that has to do with survivability. Um, a lot of you folks out there probably follow Dave Canterbury. He's got a thing going on at his classroom, or his area where the Pathfinder school is. This, I think it started Wednesday and it's going through the weekend, but a big period, you know, wearing clothes from the classic camping days from like 1890 to 1939. A lot of folks coming in. It's a big squirrel camp. So they're setting camp up and they're going squirrel hunting. So that's cool. You know, you don't see that anymore. People actually having a squirrel camp or deer camp. I mean, that might still go on in a lot of places, but you don't see that much here. Deer hunting goes on and squirrel hunting goes on, but they don't set up camp. They'll just go out. And that's really all I got to do here is kind of just head to the woods. It's kind of my backyard. But they dress in the period time clothing that one would wear during that time, maybe even using flintlock, stuff like that. You see a lot of, in some of the pictures, you see a lot of canvas tents and tarps. Great stuff, though. And if y'all, I'm sure, probably watch Dave Canterbury here on YouTube, I'm sure he'll have some content on there. James Bender, some of you folks may know from the channel Waypoint Survival, he traveled to Dave's place, which he's not too far from Dave. I think he's got his own school as well, and I think at one time was an instructor at the Pathfinder school, if I am not mistaken. And so, you know, Waypoint Survival is a great channel as well. He does a lot of stuff like that when it comes to like hobos back in the day, how they would survive. Oh, you're talking about Dave? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Duluth packs are awesome. I like them. I like a good canvas pack. Now, truthfully, since, you know, and Richard, and I'm not sure if anybody else served in the military, but I'm sure they are, but I know Richard was in the U.S. Army. I myself was in the U.S. Army. I kind of tend to more Army surplus type stuff, but I like a good canvas pack. Right over here, I got an Alice pack. You know, we got camo and the Great American flag here behind us. Right here, we got a coonskin cap, if you didn't notice that. All kinds of great survival books here in my library. But I tend to have more Army surplus type gear and even more modern tactical stuff. Dutch, who, you know, we talked about earlier, who's usually with us, but can't be with us tonight because he's on the mend and, you know, trying to recover. He's a more traditional type stuff, like what we were talking about with the squirrel camp. And I think he had planned to go to the squirrel camp, from what he told me, but got sick, got ill, and couldn't go. All packed and ready to go, but it's a shame. It would have been cool to see Dutch there as well. But hey, y'all need to check out some of Dutch's stuff because, you know, he kind of really goes for that traditional type stuff. A lot of leather, a lot of canvas. You're welcome, Wolfsden. Appreciate you. Yes, no problem. Yeah, you did mention you'll be out with the Hoosier Bushcraft Gang there in the Hoosier National Forest, I think. That will be no problem. We would appreciate you if you did watch the replay. But That's all right. We thank you for being here with us each and every time so far since we started this new podcast. Okay, Rob on the road said the majority of his gear day to day and outdoor is surplus. Some would say I fail to shop anywhere else. Hey, I mean, like I said, some of my stuff's tactical. It's mostly all surplus, but I got some tactical packs and things that I've gotten off Amazon and other places. We'll mix in a little traditional gear every now and again. I would call this knife, and I think we showed this maybe a couple weeks ago. I would call this some type of traditional knife. I mean, it's a leather sheath. There's a buckskin handle there, and you know, a gut hook blade. Let's get that in frame there. So, you know, it ain't like I don't like traditional gear. It's just I kind of got a hodgepodge of everything, and I like it that way. Um, Here's a cool little compass pouch, leather. Pretty cool. Oh, what else here? Here's something I just got here. We were going to make a slingshot out of this one day, but that's just a wide branch that we cut. Figure out, you know, we'll get us some kind of slingshot out of that. We'll keep that around. We got a few little things. This is one of my favorite things right here. It's a hide and drink foraging pouch. You can put that on your belt, right? And some of y'all probably seen these, but that unsnaps. This folds down, and here you got waxed canvas pouch for tinder. You can when you're going around foraging for tinder, or even wild edibles, you got a big pouch there to put it in. Even a drawstring, right? So that's always cool to have, and that folds right back up and snaps right back down. You know, pretty cool. And another thing we got on display right now, this is another little great knife, but we started out with this, probably one of our first videos, and you can find it in the archives here on the Frontier Survival channel of our video on the old hickory butcher knife. But yeah, probably one of the first full tang knives we ever carried into the woods, right there. All right, let's see. Catch up with the chat here for a second. Okay, we missed a lot of stuff here. Grateful trekkers grew up in canoeing in Minnesota, gathering wild rice, fishing. Duluth packs were made to fit in canoes. Lay flat so they don't catch branches, and you could double carry front and back. 2 packs at once. That's awesome. Yeah. And I guess they kind of came from. Is that were they made in Duluth, Minnesota? I can remember getting the old Duluth catalogs back in the day, and they'd have the fire hose pants and things like that. Mr. Richards saying he's got a mixture of surplus and modern camping gear, but one item that I sleep with every night is my first poncho liner. That's awesome. That's awesome. Poncho liners are cool. Whoopies. Corporal's Corner just the other day showed off a sleep system on his, and I'm not sure how many fans of Corporal's Corner we got here. I like watching Corporal's Corner, I guess. I mean, there's sometimes he gets kind of, I don't know what you say, advertising a lot, showing off them frying pans a lot, and there's always a segment for that. But I can't not say that he doesn't have any knowledge. And the little sleep system he showed with the poncho liner and the poncho and this, that, and the other, just cowboy camping and it was kind of a bedroll deal. It was pretty cool. I'd have to say. I mean, some might not like to hear that might not be watching right now. I'm not sure, but I thought it was cool. What can I say? Wolves Den, I want to make one of those Trapper Nelson packs with canvas and leather, but kind of combining it with some of the better features of the more modern packs. That sounds pretty cool too, Wolves Den. Grateful Trekker says back in the day they were made of for trappers with my dad, which my dad was a trapper. Okay. Okay. And you were born in Duluth, Minnesota. Well, then you probably, we'll go on a little tangent here. I'm not sure, earlier we talked about how last stream we talked a little bit about pro wrestling. And I do know, since I'm kind of a pro wrestling fanatic, of course, now, today they call it sports entertainment. Being from Minnesota, you probably might have, if you were any type of pro wrestling fan, remember the AWA, or Vern Gagne, who was the owner at one time, champion of the AWA, and a lot of great wrestlers that went on to the WWFE were from the AWA in Minnesota, like the Road Warriors, folks like Kurt Hennig, Larry the Axe Hennig, Harley Race was in the AWA for a little while, Nick Bockwinkel, Bobby the Brain Heenan, who was a great manager. Wolf's Den says, talking to the Grateful Trekkers, he's hoping to start trapping next year. So any advice or anyone else has is greatly appreciated. Now, I mean, trapping's another great skill to have, and trapping could be connected to prepping, right? I mean, unless you're just a nuisance trapper, we got those around here. I know a fella that goes to places and traps coyotes off people's land. That's killing their cattle, things like that, especially calves. But yeah, or even setting up snares in the wilderness to catch small game. What do y'all think about this? Catching tree rats by nailing a rat trap on a tree. I've seen that. I've seen people do that. Tree rats meaning squirrels, of course. Beaver trappers, Grateful Trekker said, depends on your region and target species. The government, yeah. Wolf's Den saying that, telling the Grateful Trekker that he's in Alabama and going to be focusing on raccoons and cottontails, provided they are legal to trap here. Outdoor Ordnance, it was good hanging out for tonight's show. Got to go pin the chickens up. I'll definitely catch the next one. You got some chickens to pin up? You know what? I got some too. They're still out. They're probably on the roost now, but the door's open, so I got to shut that thing here after the show. Want to learn how to tan first is my thought, if don't already. There you go. Wolf's Den, he says he knows a bit, but not a lot. And Grateful Trekker's talking about preserving the hides, which, I've never really been too much in the trapping, but it does intrigue me. I like watching some trapping channels on YouTube. There's 2 or 3 that I'm subscribed to. One is a fella right here in Kentucky. He is an ex-Amish man. He kind of got out of the Amish and doing his own thing there now. His name is Eli, I think, if I can't remember correctly, but Lord, I can't remember his channel name to serve me at all. Let me see here if I can figure that out. Just hold on a second, guys. And we will, let's see here. Let me see. I can't think of what it is anymore. But anyway, sorry about that. But There is one big channel I know of, Trapper J, and he's always been a pretty big channel when it comes to that. Let me see here if I can find that again. That drives me crazy sometimes. I get so forgetful sometimes on names and whatnot. How many of y'all else do that? Okay, all right. All right, we found out what we're trying to do there, but it's all right though. So, well, what's everybody got going on this coming week? I myself, plenty of work to do. I got a kind of a blue collar, white collar job. I work at a hardware store. It's blue collar in that way, but it's inside an office, so it's kind of white collar. But I don't have to wear a suit or anything. I just kind of wear a t-shirt that, or not a t-shirt, but it's a polo shirt that when you all can see it, but it has the name of the company there and all that. Old hardware store, been around since 1940s. It's called Frederick and May Lumber Company, but we sell products from Ace Hardware. But we don't have to have the Ace Hardware name. I don't know how that happened, but we're not necessarily an Ace Hardware, but we have Milwaukee tools, we have Craftsman tools, we have all kinds of nuts and bolts and nails and screws and plumbing products, electrical stuff. Miss Mandy in there's asking me why I'm talking about work. That sounds good there. Going to get some archery practice going on. That sounds great. A chef at a Methodist church? That sounds pretty cool. What about that? But yeah, I think, like I said, I don't know. The next show, which will be in 2 weeks, we might try to just set up straight on YouTube and see how that goes. We won't worry about playing any music. I don't know how well that went over. I always liked that song. Never Left Harlan Alive. The deep dark hills of eastern Kentucky. It kind of tugs at the heartstrings, if you know what I mean. Folks, hey, it's been a good show. We appreciate each and every one of you being here. We're going to cut it short just a little bit. We kind of figured, we've went long enough. I think it's been a great show. Each and every one of you that's been here tonight, we appreciate you. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and close it out. And we'll just be on the lookout for the next one. We'll figure out what next topic will be about. And then the one after that, and we'll tell more about it next week, but Mr. Richard will be with us on the 22nd to show off his stuff, his products. So be on the lookout for that. I look forward to it. Guys, we appreciate you. We tell you all the time to keep that mountain grit so you can stay mountain strong. We'll see you on the next one. We appreciate you. Have a good one.